Okay, boys and girls, we're back again. And today we got some special guests. We got the prodigy, Ezra Elliott, a clean 3-0, and he's going to be bursting onto the scene real soon. You can trust that. And we got the OG and Luke Thomas. Luke Thomas has joined us here, and looking forward to talking to him. So let's get that posture up. Grab a refreshment of your choice. Let's have a slurp here. Have a good one. Okay, here we go. This episode is brought to you by PrizePicks. NFL playoffs and the college championships are here. Easily the best place to play is PrizePicks. Right now they got a free square going on. Will Howard, he's just got to get over 0.5 pass yards. That's PrizePicks, the best place to play. For new users, if you use code TIMBO when you sign up, place a $5 lineup and you get $50 instantly. Final predictions already dropped, and we'll have those picks on my Instagram and Snapchat at TimWelchMT. Okay, Luke, Bellator is officially done. That's crazy to say. Don Davis of the PFL, he announces that. So what is the future of the PFL, do you think? I seen they dropped their $1 million prizes to $500,000, and that's just not a good sign. What do you think?
Well, I'll just tell you, I was at Showtime when they brought Bellator over, and I don't speak for anyone at Paramount. I don't speak for anyone at Showtime. I can only speak for myself, having been there when they brought Bellator over. It was a dead brand then. Like, they should have retired that thing a long time ago. It took a while for it to actually perish the way that it has. I think it's worth pointing that out. I know that they're like, the Bellator side seems to think that it was Viacom that did them wrong. Something to be said for that, Paramount. Something to be said for that in the sense of moving them off Paramount Network. But I can just tell you, by the time they got to Showtime, that brand had no juice. That's the first thing I'd say. You were going to say something?
No, I mean, I just feel so bad. I know a lot of guys that are in Bellator, and some of these world-class fighters that could be in the top 5, top 10 of the UFC, they're sitting there and they don't have a job. They might have to fight for LFA and make $3,000 per fight now. They're looking around. They're like, what the hell do we do? So it puts a lot of guys in a shitty situation. But so I'm curious to what PFL, what they got in store. Yep.
I will tell you, this is something I say a lot, and I say frequently, and a lot of people aren't ready to hear it. But what I'm telling you, I will bet on this. I'll bet everything that I own on this. PFL cannot succeed. It is actually not possible. I mean, they might be able to change business models and become something like a Cage Warriors. That is sustainable. But if they're going to try and do this, like, we're the number 2 in this premier market kind of thing, that will be their undoing. You can mark my words on that. It cannot be done. This is something that a lot of people have a very hard time understanding, but it's actually quite simple. And it goes something like this. At any point in time in combat sports history, whether you're talking about 19th century, 1960s, even to today, there is always kind of one group or one entity, more or less, depending on how the era you're talking about, that the public perceives in terms of the fighters themselves as the legitimate ones. And these have historically revolved around sanctioning body titles, which is why there were laws passed in this country to make sure that the sanctioning bodies were not controlled by the promoter, that the titles were actually separate. It's a longer conversation, but the point I want to make is as follows. The UFC does not co-promote. So this is why you have seen Bellators come and go, IFLs come and go, Elite XCs come and go. Was it because they didn't have world-class guys? No, to the point Johnny Eblen is awesome. Patchy Mix is awesome. And there's a bunch of other guys that fight there, and ladies too, Dakota Ditcheva, who is awesome. It's not a question of do they have qualified people on their roster. The question is, who does the public perceive as legitimate? And until there is a cross-pollination of rosters, PFL versus UFC, there is no way for PFL to establish into the broader public consciousness that A, these guys exist, and B, that they're relevant to be considered. The public simply will never do it. It cannot happen. So what do I think about these changes? I think the changes are fine. They're good. Get rid of Bellator. Fine. Make the tournaments a little bit smaller. You can win a smaller prize, but it's fewer fights. It's 3 instead of 4. All of this is like no problem. But to me, it's a bridge to nowhere. The bigger issue is monopoly has constrained the industry, and PFL's demise is a question of when, not if.
That sucks. That sucks for so many guys. Hopefully maybe one of these streaming services, maybe like a Hulu or a Discovery Plus or one of these guys come in and give them a few more years. Yeah, bail them out a little bit and try to build them up, but fuck.
So Saudis too is also another interesting way where they could just give them a bunch of money and it doesn't matter if they're making a bunch because they just have like a lifeline coming from some other place. But I mean, understand, you mentioned like the death of Bellator. Like, this is kind of serious. Bellator paid out totally, annually, like per year. Their budget was $40 million, I think, that went both to event and then fighter pay. I mean, this is an enormous amount of money that got pulled from the market. If you were to lose Bellator and ONE and PFL, like, dude, where are those fighters supposed to go? Like, it's actually a real big problem that I think a lot of folks haven't accepted is coming our way.
Yeah, for sure. So, well, what are your thoughts on, like, you're a real OG. You've been in the MMA media since 2007?
Something like that, yeah. I wasn't full-time till 2011, but I had started my own little project in 2007, yeah.
Yeah, so what are your thoughts on the kind of the current state of the MMA media? You got Guru, you got Ariel, Nina, now fighters getting into the fold. What do you think of the current landscape, and what do you think, like, kind of the future of MMA media is?
I think MMA media as it existed when I started is dead, functionally dead. I mean, they still there's a few remnants of it that still kind of exist. But it is basically, as a journalistic enterprise, is over. That is finished. And I think a lot of corporate media in general is kind of shrinking. And so that's affecting a lot of sports jobs, but it's affecting, like, the ones they're going to cut first are not NFL, right? Not MLB. They're going to cut some of the smaller ones. So what you're ending up seeing is basically all the lines have been blurred, right? You have people who just come up on YouTube. You have people who are, as you indicated, athletes turning into media. And that's been going on for a while, but the trend is obviously accelerating. And really what it comes down to is, I'm not going to say it doesn't matter what your background is, because it certainly does. It can have an effect one way or the other. But all the rules are gone. All the rules are gone. It is, can you provide something interesting? Can you dominate on a platform? Are you an Instagram guy? We'll see if they get rid of TikTok, but are you a TikTok guy? Are you a YouTube person? Whatever. Can you dominate on that and just provide content in a way that is otherwise appealing or different or relevant or desired? And all of the old guardrails about what used to exist are over. And the future is simply, what can you do to dominate on a platform, generate an audience, and kind of survive as an independent creator. That's really the biggest change.
Yeah, I mean, and sticking with it. Like someone like you who've been around for so many years, sticking with it, obviously probably not making money for a lot of the years and just sticking with it. Most people can't stick with it for more. They think they're going to do it and they try it for 10 episodes or whatever, and they usually crumble.
Right. Yeah. I mean, and I've also done just different things. You know what I mean? Like, I've done like 1,000 different jobs inside media, and they all kind of ended up here because this is the place where I think, you have I'll say this, the best chance of monetization. But like, I just think there's a lot of people who are currently playing by an old playbook that really is collapsed. And the new playbook is, hey, like, tell us why you're here, make it interesting, and do something that people find valuable. And that's the new model.
Yeah. So you started streaming a lot more this year. Why did you do that? And like, how are you enjoying it compared to your videos and podcasts?
Yeah, I like it. I like streaming as live. There's just nothing quite like live. Live is always going to be king. There's no way to really replicate the joy and uniqueness of the experience. And so I think that's one big reason. Two was, a lot of the streams performed well relative to my expectations. So I was like, well, I guess I'll keep doing it. And then the other part too is, again, also, like, I do want to get back to some kinds of content that are separate from all of this. Like, one of the downsides of the current era we're in is, if you don't play by the rules of the algorithm, you are heavily punished. I can tell you, I came from an era of the internet where that was not really the case, where there was much more open, and you had much more latitude about what kind of content you could create without penalty of what was, winning or losing in terms of traffic or clicks or whatever. You'd have to play by the rules a little bit, but even playing by some of those rules, I've actually really kind of enjoyed it, and it's given me a bit of a different perspective. So I think in 2025, you're going to see more of that. But if I may, you're going to see, I think, content that I actually really just want to do independent of how it will perform, because I think it's valuable and cool.
Yeah, and if for some of my viewers, if you haven't checked out Luke Thomas's page, check him out. I mean, he's always got a wealth of knowledge. He's been around for a long time, and he's got some great content. He's got some great takes. So Dana's hinting at a big surprise fight for the fall. Nobody will see coming, he says. If you had to guess, what are you thinking?
It's not going to be Fedor. It's probably not going to be Brock. I'm going to guess something Connor Nate 3 related. I think something like that. Maybe a Deontay, but I don't know if he wants to. I mean, Deontay's pretty fried. Deontay Wilder.
Mm-hmm.
You know, after all that whole ayahuasca, my man is just not the same.
He's chilling. He's
yeah, dude, he's straight up. He's straight up. He's just cooked at this point, but God bless him. Something like that. I think Connor Nate related. You know, but who the fuck knows?
So that should be good. So you usually do you do much? Do you do any nicotine? Do you do any caffeine? Do you do any marijuana before your stuff, or you keep it clean?
So I definitely don't do marijuana before because it just messes up my ability to concentrate. But I am an avid user. But I'm a caffeine guy. So I start with a big cup of coffee, 5, 6 a.m. in the morning, and then I usually have a second one, 8 or 9, and then for one of those nighttime ones, I'll have energy drink, you know, whatever. But the marijuana is always got to be afterwards because I gotta be as sharp as possible, and sometimes I get a little bit drooly. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah. So with your coffee, are you going black or are you going a latte?
No, I don't do lattes. I do black. Yeah, I mean, I might put a little bit of sweetener in it every once in a while, but black.
And then and then around 8:30, 9 p.m. is when you pull out the bong, you head out to the garage and start just hitting it.
No. Well, see, remember, you're on West Coast time.
Oh, that's right.
So I'm on East Coast time. So for me, it's not until like 2 a.m. 2 a.m. is when I usually am like done. Unless it's like, if I'm just streaming, because here's the thing, I'll stream and then I'll immediately go into a post-fight show. If I have to do that, then everything has to come after. But if I'm just streaming to like fuck around, like, which I'll probably do for the by the way, great fight, Usman Nurmagomedov, Paul Hughes, PFL fight, like a legitimate great fight. I'll probably do it for that because I don't know if I'm going to do a post-fight show for that one. You know?
And do you come up with some of your ideas when you're off the marijuana?
The best ideas I've ever had were smoking a pen and then going for a walk.
Yeah,
I absolutely feel like, and not just on a treadmill, but like out in your neighborhood, out in nature or whatever. I feel like doing that enables me to talk through and see things and imagine possibilities. Sometimes you get a lot of bad ideas that way too, but the best ideas I've ever had, personally speaking, have come from situations like that, almost always.
And when you're snacky as all hell and you just got done with a couple of rips and you head to your fridge, what is it usually? You try to keep it healthy, or you just hit a box of Mike and Ike's and call it good?
I try not to binge at all, but if I do, bro, I'm a sucker for cheese. Cheese is like a
cheese string,
or just chunks of it. You got to be careful, bro. That shit's deadly. You know what I mean?
It'll clog you.
Yeah, and you don't need much. It's calorically dense too. So, but I have to be careful because I got a fucked up gallbladder. So
big pepper jack guy.
No,
Gouda,
nothing like that. I'm more like I mean, if I'm just snacking, I like sharp cheddar, sharp.
And no crackers, nothing, just pure, just clomping from
sometimes.
The dork.
Sometimes, but not all. Not like if I don't have crackers, I won't be like, oh well, I don't have fucking crackers. I'm just gonna skip it. No, I'll eat it.
Hit the cheese.
Yeah, I'll do it.
So do you keep up on the crypto much or not too much?
Not a crypto guy. It's just too volatile, too unregulated. I mean, I God bless people who want to do it. Obviously, Bitcoin is killing it. You know, please don't get misled. This is not some anti-crypto rant, but you know, I gotta be careful with my daughter's college fund. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I mean, with kids, it definitely changes the whole thing. But big fight this weekend, UFC 311. Are you going, or are you streaming at your house?
No, I'm not going to this one. I'm going to stream it here. I typically reserve those for East Coast shows, or Vegas shows, but no, not this one.
Okay, so we UFC 311. It's just a hell of a card. Real quick, we don't have to go into details on each one, but I'd love to hear your predictions real quick. Kevin Holland versus Reinier de Raider.
Oh.
Give it to me straight.
Probably Holland. Probably.
I think so too.
I feel like De Ridder is clever, and the problem with Holland is that he fights on his opponent's terms a lot, but he can crack. He's better on the feet. I think he's a better athlete too. I think that'll matter.
I think he might piece him up. Okay, we got Moicano versus Beneil Dariush.
A year ago, I would have said Dariush. I think now I'm going to say Moicano. Dariush is very, very talented. I don't have to tell you guys that, but I feel like he's a little bit shop worn at this point, and Moicano is kind of peaking. And everything is about life is timing, and it's good timing for him.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that bout. Everyone thinks Beneil is an old bird, but I think they're pretty similar in age. 35 years old, I believe. Both really good black belts, and I think Moicano is going to come in there. I think he hits a little harder. I think he's going to come in there with some confidence and really look to make a statement. So I agree. I think Moicano gets it done. How about Jiří versus Jamahal Hills?
Jesus, this one I don't know, dude. I mean, everybody loves Jiří, but like the problem, I mean, he just doesn't take defense seriously. Now, he said this week that he's changed a lot of this. Like, obviously, he puts his hands down too much. He's obviously durable as hell and has a great way of coming back. I do think Jamahal Hill is I do think that Jamahal Hill is underrated. I'll go Jiří, but like I don't know. I'd be curious to hear what you have to say because I am not confident. That one seems to me very chaotic.
Yeah, I mean Jiří Procházka, you see his body. He's this built samurai, and he's just but the samurai warrior spirit doesn't help when you're getting clipped on the chin. He throws his punches from his hips, and he pulls his punches back to his hips, even when he's in the pocket. Jamahal Hill, he's a sharp southpaw boxer, very confident. I think Jamahal Hill might piece him up, but those unorthodox shots that work in MMA and they don't work in other sports, I mean, Jiří's got those on his side. So I wouldn't be surprised either way, but I think Jamahal Hill might KO him.
Ooh, yeah. You know what? The thing is about this, I don't have any doubt Jamal's going to rock him, right? He's going to have him in deep trouble. But the question is kind of what happens after that, and that's the part I can't figure out.
Yeah, I'm freaking fired up for that bout. Okay, we got Umar versus Merab.
I think Umar is. I'd be surprised if Umar doesn't win this one. I'm not trying to dismiss Merab. I'm not trying to say he's not a worthy champion. That's really not my point. Or that he won't make it close, or that this is some kind of runaway for Umar. I think it will be competitive in spots, but I think Umar's got at least enough to challenge most of the wrestling of Merab, maybe not all of it. I think he's got a chance to actually make Merab wrestle defensively on his own. And then to the extent that that fight takes place in the feet, I think he's going to get chewed up a little bit, especially if a guy like Umar can put pressure on him. So I think one way or the other, Umar is your new champion on Saturday night.
Yeah, I mean, I think Khabib and that team and that grappling team, they've studied a lot of Merab and where he likes to cook the clock, get behind the waist, cook the clock, and just get rid of the time. And I think Umar is going to be able to counter that real quick. Now, if Merab comes out, pushes the pace real hard in those first two, three rounds and forces him to scramble, forces him to defend takedowns, forces him to get up, and he's real tired, I see that's a possibility for Merab, but I do think Umar, I think he can negate all those positions where Merab's good, and then on the feet, obviously, he's way more tricky.
You read my mind, and I again, I want to say don't be surprised if you see Merab on the working from underneath in Turtle, right, where he's the one having to answer for some of that. I don't think that would be the most amount of time spent there, but I wouldn't be surprised if you see it a little bit.
Yeah, I'm actually real fired up for that fight. So just real quick before we move on to the main event, who would you like to see fight for the belt after Umar and Merab?
Well, I'll tell you what, I think your guy is just going to stroll right back in. Dana White yesterday talking to Jim Rome and I think some other outlets as well, maybe Barstool, I forget exactly, but basically was asked about this. And he was like, yeah, Sean O'Malley's going to be there. I'm assuming you might be there with him on Saturday night, and there's going to be ringside or cage side rather, and I'm like, well, if Dana White is saying that, then he's kind of articulating who they want next. It's probably going to be Sean O'Malley, I would guess.
Yeah, we're hoping we hope we get the winner of that. I mean, his surgery recovery is going good. We're getting back to damn near full speed training, so would love to fight the winner. Selfishly, I would like Merab to win because I'd love to get that fight back. But walking out there with Sugar and Umar walking out there with Khabib, that would be a pretty legendary moment, especially if you're able to KO Umar. So
yeah, dude, getting a win over a guy with the last name Nurmagomedov doesn't happen often.
Yes, yeah. Very true. So we got Islam and Arman. I'm fired up about this one. What do you got?
I think Islam is pound for pound number one in the sport for a reason. I'll just say this. I think obviously the first fight was great. I've rewatched it a couple of times. I think you're going to get a similar but meaningfully different fight in this case. But I think the one thing I keep going back to is the nature of ground and pound from Arman. And Arman is not one of these guys like that does these, working from turtle, cross wrist rides, Turk in the legs kind of a thing. He typically does his best work on top when the other person is playing guard. And it's like, I know Islam did that in the 5th round against Volkanovski, but that was big travel, big weight cut. You're just not going to get, okay. You are very unlikely to get Islam to just be underneath and then trying to play guard, or he can't get back up or something. And that's like a necessary condition for Arman's ground and pound. So, Arman could get it done on the feet. Obviously, he's talented. I think he earned this title shot, and I can't wait for it. But I just think Islam is way too good and can negate all the places where Arman does his best work.
Yeah, I mean that's a great take. I think Islam, he walks around, he's such a big dude. You see him in these square offs, you see him at the weigh-ins. He looks like he very easily could be a welterweight. But Arman, when you hear him talk in these embeddeds, you hear him talk in the countdown. It reminds me back when we were backstage a lot with TJ Dillashaw when he fought Renan Barao, and Renan was on his big streak and he's this unbeatable thing, and TJ just had this confidence like he damn near already won the fight. Like, I'm winning this fight 100%. I'm winning this fight. And Arman's carrying that kind of confidence, and he's got that good team behind him. He's coming in with a good game plan. And even their first fight, how many scrambles they had. And I think those Russians, I think they roast each other when someone else takes them down in the cage, in practice or whatever. They really grill each other. So I think Islam's going to come out there and he's just going to be so hard to take down this match, because both their fight camps, Islam's fight camps, Umar's fight camps, are against guys that are probably going to be trying to take him down. So I'm sure they wrestled their asses off for this fight. And I can't see Islam losing to Arman, but you never know.
And like also like Arman is, I mean, again, anything could happen, but Arman has historically not been a big submission threat either. He typically likes to work a really long guard. It's like there's just a lot of ways that Islam can thrive in all of these different scenarios where, again, it's like big, strong. I mean, dude, Arman looks like he's chiseled out of stone. It's absurd. If he lands on you, yeah, of course it's big trouble. But like, dude, I think Islam is awesome. And I think you're going to see good evidence of that on Saturday.
Yeah, I think so too. Islam's just an absolute freak show. He really is. So I know you got an appointment at noon. Luke, thanks so much for stopping by and hanging out with us. And like I said, guys, go check out his channel. It's really good.
Last thing, you're going to the fights, yeah?
We'll be there.
All right, dude. Stay out of trouble. But I look forward to seeing what's up.
All right, Luke. Talk to you soon, brother.
Yeah, you got it, guys.
Bye-bye. Okay, excellent interview there with old Luke Thomas. Man, getting stoned with Luke would be cool, wouldn't it?
Yeah, definitely. Dude, he showed that there's like levels
to
just like MMA like analysis.
Oh, 100%.
Like just his analysis towards Arman and his like his ground and pound from the guard being effective from the guard. Like I thought that Arman's ground and pound would be effective in the fight, but when he puts it like that he needs to be in the guard for that, it makes a lot of sense that it's not going to be as effective.
That's the thing. I mean, at this elite level, I mean, not everyone, but especially in this fight in general, American Top Team, those guys know that. They know if Arman gets a takedown, he's not going to be looking to pin him. He's not going to be really looking to like really advance his jiu-jitsu. He's going to probably looking to land 2-3 shots and they're back up. 2, 3, 4 shots, boom, 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 damage him a little bit, and then they're back up. Hopefully they're smart enough to know that, which they for sure are. So, but speaking of that, VIIA Hemp, guys, whether you're recovering from a hard grappling session or getting ready to scrap on the mats, VIIA Hemp has you covered. It's just a real quality product. It really is. I really like their flower. I'm about to spark one right now. Oops. Darn the devil. It's smooth. It helps you relax and have a good time. Their gummies are also great right before practice. I like the Elevate gummy to help dial in, or after practice, the Cloud9 to chill out and relax. Check out the link in the description and use code TIM. That's TIM for 15% off, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, thank you very much. Thank you for catching that, Garrett. I don't want to get this on my fucking carpet. No, you can come in and
You're going to love that ad read for sure.
Yeah, that was... No, that was beautiful. All right, we're here with our brother Ezra Elliott. I gave him a little 2 milligram of nicotine on, and he's feeling it. Is it stinging you?
Oh yeah, it's stinging me pretty good.
Did it get your brain receptors firing?
Yeah, feeling pretty dialed now.
That mullet's looking nice. I offered Ezra an extra, what was it, $1,000?
Yeah, 1,000.
$1,000 cash, but he needs that mullet to grow down to his belt line. So I think he's a little nervous about that, but still thinking about it. I know he is.
Braid it.
Yep.
Double braid in the fight.
Little double braid here. Recently I got into, I've played 2 games. I've played 2 games of poker. 5 minutes, within 5 minutes from my house, I can be sitting at a poker table at this casino. It's kind of dangerous. We went and played some Texas Hold'em, and I sat down, true beginner, and there was this lady there, just a drunk bitch. Drunk, and she just sat down with a fuckload of chips, and she's like, don't let me intimidate you guys. And she's like staring at all our eyes, and she's just reeking of alcohol and BO. And she's just trying to punk me out. And then I hit a good hand on her, didn't I, War?
Yeah, so the first hand, Tim had pocket kings, and he lost $60 because he didn't know how to let her go. And then the second hand, there was a full house on the board, and those of you that know poker know this is crazy. Full house on the board. She shoves him all in, and Tim flips quads on her to rob the lady for 160. The odds of that are less than, it's basically 0%.
And she got up, bucking herself, jumped out of her chair. What the fuck? Blah, blah, blah. And then she's talking shit. She's like, hey, she's talking to War, like get him in some beginner's games. This is fucking bullshit. So then this black feller, he ended up going all in. And then I ended up beating him, took all his chips, and I said, well, that's my time, guys. And I cashed out.
He said, thanks for the money.
Thanks for the money,
The needle.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
So that was a good time. But then I went yesterday with Sean. A couple hands, me and him were going head-to-head. I'm like, I know this little fucking douchebag's bluffing me right now. And he ended up taking all my money. So we'll
back on that horse today.
Yep.
Back on the horse.
pop by the casino today, play a little $100 bill. So we got Ezra here, 3-0, 3-0, and we're looking to get back in there possibly March, Ez.
Yeah, I think March, either 14th or the 7th.
And we were really pushing for Ezra. When Tommy had to pull out of that Austin Bashi fight, we were really pushing for Ezra. We had Sean even hit up Shelby like, hey, we got a kid who will take that kid out. And he's like, God, I just can't do it because you're 2-0 at the time. 1-0 at the time, but multiple amateur fights. UFC, Sean Shelby and these guys already know who Ezra is because of his grappling and some of the guys he's beat. And Sean Shelby said, I just can't do it. I can't do it because even if Ezra goes out there and beats him, now it's like, who in the UFC is going to want to fight a 2-0 guy? No one's going to take that fight, and it kind of fucks the whole situation. They made an exception with Bo Nickel. What was he?
I think he was 1, and then he won the contender, so then he was 2-0 after. Or no, I guess he would have been 3-0 because he did 2 contenders.
Yeah, so he was 3-0. God damn it. So we could have done that route with you. But now we got you to 3-0. 3-0. And we got to get 2 more. 2 more in the W's, quick W's. And then we'll probably, hopefully, maybe shoot for Contender Series next fall. So you're looking to get back in there possibly March.
Yeah, yep. Hopefully two finishes and then probably contenders.
And what did you think of the Bashi kid's performance? What do you think you'd have done to him?
I think I would have beat him for sure. I think style-wise, it's a really good matchup for me. I still say good credit to him, though, because I thought C-Rod's pretty good, and he's got a pretty good style for grapplers. He beat Raul, too. And I remember my brother was like, should I bet on this fight? And I said that C-Rod had beat Rosas, who's a pretty similar style too. So I was like, I don't know. He's got pretty good grappling defense and stuff. And then he looked good against Bashi.
Yeah, someone like Bashi, you can tell how confident the kid is. He's a young buck. He's a brown belt world champion. He's got a good, he wasn't like the greatest wrestler, but he's got a good double leg. And he comes forward and he was hitting some 6 scrambles. But a fight like that is just going to level him up more. Like if he would have went out there, maybe he sneaked by a decision on the guy. A kid like that, it's going to make him so hungry. He's going to level up big time from a fight like that.
Yeah.
Because it's hard. You go into the UFC, I think he was 12-13-0, and you got all the hype. The number one, they're saying he's the best prospect in the UFC right now. That's a lot of fucking pressure. And then you go against a vet like C-Rod, and he kind of got not really exposed. It just shows you he does have a lot of talent, and he'll probably go pretty far in the featherweight division. But I don't know what gym he trains at too. That's the thing. If you have a gym where you're the man at and you're regged out, no one can stop your double leg. No one can stop your back take. But no one's really, like, you go into the fight with a lot of confidence, which is dangerous. But then you have someone who matches your pace and you get your eyes opened a little bit in the fight. It's like, fuck.
Yeah, that's like out here. I feel like sparring at the lab and sparring here and just like the guys we get to train with, like it's literally unmatched. I could verse, like in the room, I can go against the best strikers, literally the best strikers in the UFC. I can go against Bryce. He's a 2-time NCAA finalist wrestler. There's guys like Livio and Tinquinho who are like black belt world champions. I don't know any other place you get all those looks.
At your weight class right now, 35, 45, it really is the mecca. There's nowhere else. There's nowhere else where you have that many good guys.
Yeah, I mean, also too, like coming in here doing comp rounds or just like whenever we're doing live grappling and stuff too, you can find rounds you can get a guy you can kind of beat up on, but they're still good. And then there's guys that can beat you up. And then there's guys that are like right around your level where it's going to be like a scrap every round. Like that too, just having levels where like there's someone better than you in the room. There's people you're better than, and then people right at your level is pretty sick.
That 100% is the recipe to get good. For sure. For sure. You said you did a mushroom trip recently, and then you watched the music video. What was it?
Oh, One Last Breath.
One Last Breath by Creed.
Yeah, on New Year's, because every New Year's I've been just getting blasted, just like 5 grams of mushrooms. Which I mean I'll do that other times in the year, but every like New Year's now, me and my buddies kind of been our thing.
Kind of reset. And what kind of setting was this in? All the buddies were over at your house. You guys had some pizza, throwing on some Creed music videos. It sounds sick.
In my brother's camper.
Oh
yeah, just all of us just in the camper, just blasted, and then had Creed just full blast on the TV.
You just decided like that's the vibes, and you put that on.
Yeah, and the music video is sick.
Is it really?
If you haven't seen it, the One Last Breath music video, it's ahead of its time.
Did you cry?
A little bit.
Fuck, dude, I'd be crying too. You listen to some Creed at the right time. Fuck, it's good.
It's fucking good.
Yeah, it really is. What else we got going on? Because you haven't been really smoking too much herb, do you? You don't really smoke herb that much. You don't drink, which is fucking good. Every time people are going out getting blacked, you're always sitting there sober.
Yeah, I mean, really all I do is psychedelics. I'll smoke a little bit of weed once in a while, smoke a cig once in a while.
Hit a ciggy. Now, when are you hitting your ciggies?
I hit a ciggy in the cold plunge. I actually have smoked almost every time I've been in the cold plunge the past year, this year so far, but just like a puff.
Not just hitting the whole stick while you're in there?
No, one of my buddies has been smoking a little bit of cigs, but he'll just hand me and I'll take a rip off of it.
And does that get your mind off the cold?
It just makes me feel like metal when I do it. So I'm just like, yeah, this is fucking sick.
That's legendary.
That's what my brother, the first time he was cold plunging ever, he'd put on some fucking Rob Zombie and get in there. I'm like, I don't know if that's the way to go about it. I think you want to get in there and try to get kind of calm and follow your breath. I mean, but throwing on some metal, smoking a ciggy's another way, which is kind of sick.
Kiera, she'll listen to like Chop Suey by System of a Down or like some hard
and just
hard
flex
metal.
The whole time
yeah,
in there.
She's just tense in there.
Damn, that's fucking cool.
I like to throw on Wim Hof and just do the Wim Hof breathing.
That's intense.
Mm-hmm.
That's fucking intense. I seen Canelo Alvarez doing the Wim Hof breathing in the cold plunge. It's different when you crawl out of bed and you decide you're going to go get in that bitch and it's already cold outside. It's already a tad bit nipply and you go get in there. Nothing fucking charges you up better than that. We were supposed to have Moicano on the pod, but it was fight week Tuesday. So, I mean, those fight weeks, you get your itinerary. You have all these interviews. You don't really feel like doing interviews. You usually have to cut around 20 pounds. So I'm like, maybe we'll do it next week or the week after where we can sit down and have a good podcast with Moicano.
I love Moicano's promos.
They're fire.
Moicano,
what are you saying, Nick?
Money.
Yeah, if you don't have a cold plunge, another great way to start the day, tying it back to Creed, is get in the cold shower and play higher. That'll get your day started right.
Just fucking balling too.
Oh no, higher will get you juiced up, ready to roll. You'll
Really?
be singing. It's a good
Shadow
time.
boxing, jump out, fuck your girl.
Well,
Fricked up in the cold shower.
Uh-huh. That's good. Or like, you doing anything for your health these days?
Just not vape. Oh, just not vaping. Just,
Are we doing anything to improve the health?
Not no, not at the top of my mind. Honestly, if anything, we're doing things that'll fucking ruin the health, like going to play poker and just give myself dopamine spikes and then highs and lows.
I mean,
baby.
is poker is it toxic? Is it just nothing good comes out of it if you have money to play it and you're not abusing it?
I mean, long term, it's just gonna wear you out.
Yeah, because I'm trying to look at it. I'm like, if I sit down at the poker table once a week for an hour and a half, is that really declining my health? I don't fucking think so.
No, it's not. But maybe over a long term, then it goes to 2 days or 3 days a week, and then the sessions get from an hour and a half to 3 hours.
And you're saying at these poker tables that around like midnight, 2, 1, people start getting drunk and more
Loose with their money. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, very loose. That's the best time to go. It's the most fun is when you don't have a timetable. Like, you can just show up at 6 and just play until your heart's content.
Yeah.
Do you have to throw the same amount of money as everyone else on the table?
So you can buy in at the table. We're playing anywhere between 60 to 200, but 200 is your max starting stack. But if you're there for like 6 hours, you could build that 200 to 1,200, and then you have a $1,200 stack versus everyone who has 200.
But you can fold your cards. People decide what they want to bet, and you can be like, I'm not playing that one. And you could fold. We got some other interesting fights on this we got Peyton Talbot versus Raoni Barcelos. That's a tough fight. I mean, Raoni got knocked out by Usman. And I think he's on a 1-fight win streak right now. And he's taking on Peyton Talbot. And everyone's expecting Peyton Talbot to just run through him fucking easy. I'm like, this is a tougher bout than people think.
Yeah, Barcelos fought Kyler. And Kyler put it on him, but it was still a competitive fight. Barcelos was good.
Was it 15 minutes?
Yeah, it was a 15-minute. That was the same day they had the Open in Phoenix. I remember watching it.
Yeah, and God, the thing is, the UFC knows what they're doing, so they want to build these guys. But you still, I mean, there's only so many fucking easy fights you can give someone. Raoni Barcelos, he's 18-5. He is 37 years old now, and damn, he had canceled bouts 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 canceled bouts in the last couple of years, I guess. He beat Said Nurmagomedov. He beat him. He beat Kurt Hollenball. He beat Chris Gutierrez. He beat Dan Moret. He beat Bobby Moffitt. This is going to be a tough bout. So I'm looking forward to see how Peyton Talbot does in this fight. And the thing is, I mean, Peyton Talbot right now, he's fucking confident. You go in there with that kind of confidence. He does train with those Ruotolo bros. I don't know how much, but he does train with them. So he's going to come in there ready to go. We also got our buddy, Clayton Carpenter. Clayton Carpenter is on the card versus, how do you pronounce his name?
Tahir Ulanbekov.
And he's part of the Nurmagomedov camp. And I'm pretty sure Clayton's an underdog, right?
Clayton is an underdog. He's plus like 240 underdog versus Tahir, who I think is one of the most overrated people in the Khabib camp.
And a lot of Tahir's fights that he's won in the UFC are by submission, and all of us know how good Clayton is and how hard he is to submit.
Yeah, dude, Clayton's a stud.
He's been grappling. He's one of those kids that's been grappling since, 5, 6 years old. He's got good wrestling. He's small. He's dense. He's athletic. He trains with good guys. So don't be surprised if Clayton goes out there and puts a whooping on him. Let's hope for that. And then also we got the Grant Dawson versus Diego Ferreira fight. And that's about that on that. So I'm looking forward to it. We're leaving Saturday. We get there at 3 p.m. 3 p.m. we're going to eat dinner, and then we're probably just going to go for the co-main and main event. And we were thinking about wearing our Abu Dhabi suits, but I don't know. That kind of takes a lot of balls to do that. Walk out there with our fucking Abu Dhabi suits, sit down for the co-main and main, and then just dip. Completely dip. So, Ez, how's everything at the home life going? You having some good relationships with your roommates?
Yeah, so all my buddies I live with, like, I've grown up with all of them. We've been buddies since we were little kids, so it's pretty cool. Like, in the house, too, everyone's, like, schedules and stuff, like, we're all home around the same time. It's pretty cool. It's just me, my girl, 2 of my buddies, they're her cousins, and then one of my other buddies that we've been best friends since we've been little kids. So it's pretty sick.
So 5 people and you're all splitting rent,
Mm-hmm.
and it's a good time. Who's the dirtiest out of all the crew?
Abel, it's Kiara's cousin.
Just everything he touches, he just sets it down where he's at.
Yeah, he's just a filth ball.
And do you guys talk to him about it? Does he get fired up?
He claims it's not him. He'll just be like, "That I didn't do that." And like, you're the last one to cook rice. And then like he has like ground beef and rice and cheese. It's like his dinner every night. I'm like, "That's you." And he's like, "It wasn't me." He'll just like straight face be like, "That wasn't me."
Just lie. Maybe you could set up a camera, a secret little like $50 cameras, and said, "Would you be willing to bet your eyebrows that wasn't you?" And see.
Yeah, that's what we should do, because he claims like, and he does clean. So like, he'll clean if like it's brought to his attention. That's not like he's like filthy in that way. Like he definitely does, but he will be like, "All right, I'll clean it, but it wasn't me." But like, I don't know. Yeah, he just is in denial that it was him.
When you got someone in your buddy group or whatever, and they're capping, do you think you should always call them out?
Yeah, I mean, we got the hot seat in the house, which like you put someone down in the hot seat, and then we just question them. Sometimes I get put in the hot seat.
And what are they questioning you about?
It could be anything. Like one of my buddies,
who was blaring Creed at 6 a.m.?
No, that would be me. I'd be in the hot seat for that.
Okay.
One of my buddies, like, we'll put him in the hot seat at least weekly, he comes back from the gym every day. He'll go, "Do you guys just seen these chicks that were checking me out?" And he just talks about like, he just always talks a big game. And he has not been with a woman in, say, 16 months. Mm-hmm. But he claims like, "Oh, no, like."
He puts it down.
Well, not that he puts it down, but that he could. And like, he almost tries to act like he's like flexing. He'll be like, "Yeah, like it's a power move because like these girls want me, but I don't give it to them."
Oh.
And we're like, that's like a cop out, bro.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you gotta. So do you guys think a friend, I always think if you have a friend in the friend group who's capping, or you think they might be lying, you call them out. You call them out and you get to the bottom of it. Do you agree, War?
I mean, within limits, yeah.
Why?
I mean, if you gotta, sometimes you gotta live with that person when you call them out.
Maybe it would teach the person. They'll be like, "Okay, maybe I'll stop capping,"
maybe
because they're gonna call me out.
Accountability.
Okay, Nick, what were we gonna say here?
I mean, if it's really your boy, you got to call him out on it. I agree with you, Tim.
Yeah, and then yeah, for sure, I think so.
Not to put Schmidt on blast, with Schmidt not here, but I just want to say this story because I think it's pretty funny.
No, please do.
So I remember one time, I remember it was like one of the LFA events. It was like in November last year, not this past year, but the year before, 2023. Shug hit me up. It's like, "Hey, we'll have a table by the cage, whatever, if you want to come." So I show up, and I think it was when Jimmy Dietz was fighting. Mm-hmm. So you guys were in the back and stuff, and I was up there with Sono and Schmitty, and the ring girls are like right in front of us. And this one chick, she keeps looking back at us, and Schmidt's like, "Dude, that chick just keeps checking me out, bro."
Yep.
And he keeps saying it, like, and Sono keeps leaning. He's like, "Dude, he thinks that chick's really checking him out." And I'm like, yeah, like he's fully convinced. He's like, "Ez, dude, should I say something to her?" I'm like, "Yeah, dude, do it." But she kept looking back at us. But I was like, "There's no way she's checking out Schmitty." But come to find out, it's one of my girlfriend's clients that she trains. My girlfriend's a personal trainer, so she trains that girl. And the only reason she was looking back is just she was like thinking, like, "Oh, I think that's my trainer's boyfriend." But she was just like double looking it, just to be like, "Oh, I think that's him," or whatever. And Schmitty thought that she was checking him out the whole night. And then just when I come to find out later, because Kiara's like, "Yeah, my client said you were sitting right there like fucking cage side, whatever. And she's seen you." And then it just instantly clicked in my head. Like, that's why she was looking back. And Schmitty was fully convinced she was checking him out.
Now, do you think it's better to be a little bit delirious like that? To be like, "No, like, I'm pretty fucking prime," or to be more realistic? Because sometimes you see guys who aren't the best looking fellas with very sexy women.
That's true. And also sometimes someone can be handsome, but they're just fucking, they're so unconfident that the girls like smell it on them. They
tell me
just
about
don't
it.
get.
Yeah, right. Yeah. But you never know. I mean, Big Schmidt, some girls have weird fetishes. Some girls like redheaded guys and have fetishes for that. Some girls like bald men.
Big mole in a cul-de-sac, baby.
I mean, but 6'5" diesel that will toss your little ass through the fucking ceiling. So
He is 6'5".
Yep.
That's power right there.
Yep.
6'6" of the wig, baby.
So we got Renato Moicano going off on Twitter talking about this Bitcoin, and I've been fucking, dude, my feed's been filled up with it. My YouTube feed. It's crazy. It's crazy. What I truly believe that it is going to keep going up and keep going up and keep going up, keep going up. People say it's going to be a crazy, crazy fucking price one day. And if you can put a little bit of bread in there each week, it might be a smart idea, I feel like. But who the fuck am I? So, because Trump gets inaugurated, what day? Monday, and he's getting behind it. And hopefully he doesn't get popped because that would fuck everything up. So, what else we got going today, boys? What's on the agenda for you, Ez?
I got wrestling at 3. Outside that, probably just gonna hit the sauna, hit the plunge, hang with the boys. That's it.
Nice.
Have you thought at all about maybe, upgrading to another location or opening another gym, or are you sticking here for a while?
Well, I mean, the landlord was just literally talking to me yesterday. He's like, Tim, hey, I'd love to do a deal with you for this 12,000 square foot place. I think it'll be perfect for your gym. And this gym's pretty cool because it's 12,000 square feet. But then up above, there's a glassed office all the way across the top, so you can see the whole gym. And that's where I'd have my podcast studio, my office, maybe a ping pong table, and 12,000 square feet. What I got now is about probably total with the coffee shop, with both rooms, is probably around 8,000. But one big 12,000 square foot thing. One thing I'd like about that new gym is having a women and a men's locker room. I think that'd help upgrade the gym. But it's always scary. It's like, fuck, everything's going pretty smooth right now. And how big of a headache is it to be like, okay, now I got to build out that gym. I got to invest a bunch of money and do that. But I'm trying to think whether I should do it or wait till Suge gets the title back, fights for the title again, and do it after then, or I don't know. I'm trying not to stress about it, but it's definitely on my mind.
And how's Suge been doing, now that he's taken that social media break? Is he, for a lot of the fans out there, maybe they've been thinking about it, is he finding a lot of positive impacts because of that break?
Yeah, for sure. And he's not just as like what's next? What's next? All right, let's go to the next thing. Let's go to just what's next? All right, what now? What? It's like, no, he's not like that as much. He can actually sit there and enjoy his time, hanging out with his daughter a lot more, reading a lot more, which fucking reading is so goddamn good for your brain. Not even if it's not necessarily the information you're reading, but just focusing on one thing for that amount of time compared to everyone's got so much going on. There's music playing, you're surfing on the phone, watching YouTube, doing all this stuff at once. So I think the break for him has been really nice, and he's putting a lot of time into his recovery. Some of the recovery routines he does in a day are fucking insane, and I know not many people are doing it like that. So it's going pretty good. This week we go to LA. Next week I'm going to Montana to shoot a buffalo, and that'll be pretty cool.
You bringing back some meat for the boys or what?
Yeah, I'll give you a couple jerky sticks.
Thanks, bud.
But yeah, hopefully I can come back with a bunch of fat coolers of this buffalo. These buffaloes are fucking huge.
And what about you, Ez? When are you thinking about coming back for your next fight?
Probably March. March be good.
You know what show we're thinking?
I think it was either Tough Enough or LFA. Sugar's the one that's been sending me all stuff for it. So him and Imran.
So I think LFA is going to Vegas in March, but then Tough Enough is also in Vegas in March. And it'll be cool because then you'll get to fight one of these guys from Extreme Couture or Syndicate or one of these places. So that'll be good.
Yeah.
And you've been pretty healthy?
Yeah. I mean, I busted up my hand a little bit. Literally fucking dropped one left hand and my hand was all swollen up, but it's healed up. And then my elbow was bothering me and I had it like wrapped up stuff. It just went away, but it was fucking killing me for like 2 weeks. It was weird.
What do you walk around at weight-wise?
55. If it's like Sunday night, I'll be a little heavy. I might get up to like 58, 59. By the time we're done wrestling on Tuesday, I'll be like 151, 152. So
I can't wait till you start making some good money and open up your chocolate milk business. Ezra brought me in some chocolate milk here, and it was organic milk, cacao, honey, shaken.
Yeah. I mean, it clumps up, but it's the best chocolate milk as far as like ingredients and shit. I literally have 2 glasses every single day.
maybe have to head back to the lab and figure out how to not make it clumpy before we hit the market with it.
Yeah, I might have to.
That'll be good. So, well, boys, for our ultimate supporters, patreon.com/RedHawk Academy. We have a great group in there. We do our confidential pod weekly. Last week we had a bunch of people come in on the FaceTime, and it's really entertaining, and it gets down and dirty on that one. So check it out. Hit that like and subscribe button. Hope you guys enjoyed the show, and comment your thoughts below. Love you all, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.